Ori. I live here in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada with my family. We moved over from Lagos, Nigeria in July 29th, 2022.
When you boarded a plane to Canada 4 years ago, what did you believe your life would look like?
When I boarded that plane, I saw a future of stability, a future of opportunities for my children. I had one son at the time. We had one son at the time. And we just wanted a stable environment. We wanted a place where our efforts, our work would be rewarded. The reason being specifically that I had hustled back in Nigeria, dabbled into projects here and there, most of them failed projects. Whatever the reasons for those failed projects is discussion for another day. But overall, I just felt that my effort, the value that I bring was not being properly rewarded. Systemic obstacles as sort of a whole. But I believed that right here in Canada, those efforts, the professionalism, the value that we bring to the table, the work that we do would be rewarded. I also believe that once we suddenly found good jobs, everything would fall into place.
So, what did the Canadian dream mean to you back then?
Interesting question. The Canadian dream meant stability, meant growth, meant a predictable future. One that you could say, hey, I want to be in this place at this stage and time of my life, and you would very much be there. That was what the Canadian dream meant to me.
So did you ever imagine you'd be laid off 3 different times?
In 4 years. No, never in my wildest dreams did I. It didn't even cross my mind that that would be a possibility, but here we are. It's pretty brutal.
Okay, now we can talk. Hi, my name is Linda Ori and I live in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada with my family. We moved here in July 29, 2022.
When you boarded the plane 4 years ago, what did you believe your life in Canada would look like?
Okay, so boarding the plane, I really do remember that day. I can still imagine what it felt like because for me, I was working with a multinational, one of the big four, and I had to literally quit my job to uncertainty. But I had a strong belief in the Canadian dream because I believe that once we made it into Canada, put in all the efforts, get a good job. I was actually going to take 1 year to study because I wanted to easily get into the job market based on the career path that I had. And I believe that once we got into Canada, do my study, graduate, I'll get a good job, and that would naturally, give me the platform to excel in my career. And for me, the Canadian dream meant building a better life for myself, my family, especially for the kids.
Did having a job make you feel secure?
Oh, absolutely. I just had it locked in that, you get a job and you would find absolute stability. You would grow in that role, in that company for, 3, 4, 5 years. And if there was ever going to be a change or a move, it would be a decision you made on your own rather than an employer making that for you.
Tell me about your first layoff.
Yeah, it came as an absolute shock. I worked for one of Canada's largest telecommunications company, and that in itself meant, or so I thought, stability. But it did come as a shock. There was a merger or an acquisition, however you want to look at it, but that often, like with many mergers and acquisitions, it shakes off position. There are duplicate roles, and tough decisions have to be made. But the problem was, with such stability that you have in mind based on the size of the company, you build your future, you make plans with that role, and then one afternoon, it's gone. So it was a shock.
How did it happen?
I was one afternoon I was invited into a meeting that wasn't on my calendar. And it was less than 15 minutes. It wasn't even a conversation. It was a monologue, rather I should say, because decisions have been made in rooms where you're not privy to, and what they're just doing is delivering the verdict and just telling you what is happening next in your life. And that was it. Walked out of the building without my laptop, without anything, and it was brutal. And throughout my drive home that afternoon, you can imagine everything that was playing in my head, how to walk into my home and tell my wife that our lives had changed. But yeah, we rebuild, we rise, and we keep moving.
So what conversations happened after the kids went to bed?
But I couldn't sleep that night. I was up at 2 a.m. and just replaying all the conversations in my head. I replayed the conversation I had with the HR, and I thought maybe if there were different answers I might have given in that meeting, I might have saved my job that day. I'm in sales and business development. I went back to my pipeline. I couldn't help but think about my pipeline, all the promising deals that were there, and I just thought to myself, maybe if I had pushed harder and closed most of those deals, maybe it could have just saved my job. It was the bargaining stage. I was replaying conversations. I was thinking all sorts of things, and yeah, I've since found that is just one of the cycles of a layoff.
When your husband lost his job the first time, what was the first thought that crossed your mind?
Honestly, when my husband lost his job, I wouldn't say I was surprised. I wouldn't say I was in shock. Because for me, really, for the past years, I have always been someone who preached about having a second stream of income or not relying on only one source of income, which is a salary. So I remember, even though I was studying, I had already created other streams of income. So when that layoff happened, I knew, first of all, he had put in his best, given his job the best, because he genuinely believed that, there was a path for him to grow in the career. So at that time, I was just completing my studies, and even though I got a job before I graduated, I was more concerned about our finances. I was concerned about bills. I was concerned about all the financial obligations that we already had and how everything was going to work out with one person. Even though we had come from Nigeria, I already had set up some things, other streams of income from Nigeria. But being new as an immigrant in Canada, I had not kicked off those things as much as I was doing in Nigeria. So I was concerned.
Did you question your decision to immigrate?
I wouldn't say no. I never questioned my decision to migrate to Canada. Never. If you have grown up in Nigeria, Lagos precisely, you would have faced all sorts of challenges. So they will come, irrespective of your geography. Those challenges will come. How you tackle them and face those challenges, that is what defines a man. Actually, it makes you or it breaks you. I will not be broken.
Okay, let's talk about the second layoff. When it happened again, did it hurt differently, and what exactly happened?
Oh, it hurt differently. Sometimes you think that, you are bulletproof. You think how could it hurt you again? But when it does happen, yeah, it hurts. It hurts differently because you question yourself and say, I should have seen this coming. I should have done things better. Why would I let this happen to me a second time? You know how they say, when you fool me once, shame on you, but fool me twice, shame on me. That was exactly how I felt. I felt, oh my God, shame on me.
Before it happened, did you have something to fall back on?
I had built businesses back in Nigeria, particularly the premium sales company, which I was running with a few partners of mine. And we were basically the sales arm for many of the premium companies in Nigeria, in Lagos, Nigeria at the time. However, moving to Canada, it was a very different terrain in terms of the customer profile. So
Both of you just continue.
it was difficult translating that fully into the Canadian market or economy, especially without first observing, everything about what the Canadian terrain and marketplace looks like. So I sort of put that on ice, particularly because my job was secure. I just wanted to immerse myself fully in the corporate job, make progress. And so I put every, business that I had put together back in Nigeria, I just put it on ice. So when the layoff hit, there was absolutely nothing to fall back to at the time. So it was tough. And my wife had been drumming it into my ears time and time again. She's the employedpreneur and she preaches that to everyone who gets to listen. But here she was with her husband at home who was yet to be a convert in terms of having something on the side. So you can imagine or appreciate the irony. But yeah, words of wisdom from that Proverb 31 woman of mine.
How do repeated layoffs affect a man's confidence?
I think it would depend on the individual, but yes, repeated layoffs can affect a man's confidence because you start to second guess yourself. You start to question every value that you have or maybe do not have. You question everything. You ask yourself, am I the problem? And once that becomes the center of your thought process, it takes considered effort to get out of that, because you would then need a mindset shift to completely get past that, rebuild yourself, and rise again. But yes, in short, it does affect a man's confidence.
After your husband's layoff, what conversations did you have?
When I came back from work, he was kind of quiet and calm. And when he's like that most times, I know there is something wrong. I felt in my spirit, I had a sensation that something had happened. So I looked at him and I was like, is everything okay? And he said yes. But in my heart, somehow, I knew that this month, something was wrong. So I just waited and I was like, when you're ready to speak, I will always be here to listen to you. So when it was time and he was ready to talk, he told me about it. And I was like, that's all right, this has happened. How we take it going forward is really what matters right now. And I remember that day, I saw him just, go down on his knees, praying and just talking to God. Because in times of uncertainties like this, especially in a new land, in a country where you're just literally starting afresh, you just have to hold on to God for every step of your journey, especially in those moments when you don't know what's coming next.
When the third layoff now happened, what was different?
Oh, that one was very different because I had started building something of my own before that happened. And I would have to give credit to my wife for that because she'd been pushing. And prior to the first two layoffs, she always told me to keep improving, to never settle. But that was the problem with me. I soaked myself into every role and completely forgot about myself or what I was all in. I should add that the layoffs were not particularly performance related, especially because in my last role, I was in charge of digital marketing for my province, which entailed driving to different areas, sometimes 2 hours drive, 3 hours drive. I would travel with Brandon, discuss with clients over there, meet their needs, offer solutions, and then the next month I'm off to a different, to a different city, another couple of hours drive. It was very interesting, and then obviously within the city of Winnipeg, I was engaging with business owners all around. So it was fun. I was sitting in rooms, discussing with people who were building businesses that basically are changing the future and the landscape of their industries. Absolutely wonderful opportunities. So, however, walking into that meeting, the unscheduled meeting, for the third time, I would say I was better prepared for it this time, especially because I had laid the building blocks for the layoff reinvention program. I was already neck deep into it, building piece by piece, just waiting for the day. And to be honest, I had my own exit plan prepared for me to say, hey, at this particular time, I would quit and fully focus on this. So I guess it was the fast track that process for me, and I couldn't be any happier.
Did you at any point, especially with some of these setbacks, question your decision to move to Canada?
Well, I never questioned the decision to migrate or to move to Canada because I'm one person who believes that, you can succeed anywhere you go to, especially because you have God. If you're a Christian and you know that God is with you, you know that wherever you go, the grace of God will go with you. So Canada welcomed us. Manitoba is friendly. It has an amazing community of nice people. Everywhere you go, people are friendly and genuinely want to help. In the Bible, when God promised the children of Israel the Canaan land, they had to go to spy the land, and even when they went to spy the land, there were giants in the land. The fact that we were coming to Canada, I knew that everything was really going to be, smooth and 100%. You would come here, but then you're going to put in the work. You're going to come here with the intention to build, with the intention to give everything the best.
You mentioned you had already started building something of your own. Tell us about it.
Well, layoff reinvention was born from a place of my pain. After going through that painful process twice, I was never going to waste that pain. And I thank God for the wife that I have. She was ever so supportive, and she just kept helping me. Even those days when I couldn't pick up any brick and lay it, she would just pick up the brick and lay it for me. And sometimes that was all the push that I needed. So going through that pain and reinventing myself is what I now help other professionals going through the same pain and the same painful transition. I help them find themselves. And the differentiator for me with every other traditional career coaching is we start from a place that no one dares to go, and that's the emotional reset. We feel that if the foundation is not stable, there is no strategy that you can build on top of a shaky foundation. So we stabilize first, and that's what no one else does except the layoff reinvention program. I have discussed with many people, and I find that some people would say I was laid off. Some people would say I was laid off 3 times or 4 times or 5 times or whatever that number might be. But then they get jobs afterwards. And so I decided to look at things on the bright side. You can say you've been laid off 3 times, or you can say you've gotten new jobs 3 times. It's a different perspective. And I say that because for me, after every layoff, less than 3 months, I got another job. Now, the new jobs I got were better paying jobs, bigger companies, and better roles. And sometimes I would find that I would be in the restroom and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be here for a while. Let's not talk about how men spend some time in the restroom, but when I'm there, I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna be here for 10-15 minutes, I might as well just shoot down some applications. So I'm there with my phone, I do what I gotta do, position, package, do the research, and boom. And I was landing interviews after interviews. I think it was my second layoff, I was torn between 3 companies to make a choice from. And so what I found was, it's part of the things I do with the layoff reinvention program. I help people heal emotionally, the professionals that have been laid off, of course, I help them heal emotionally, and I help them better position themselves, negotiate their offers better, strategize properly, because the job search market is very saturated now, and without strategy, you will be lost completely in it. So I help them strategize, I help them make sure that their resume becomes a value statement as opposed to just being a history of what they've done before. So that subtle change makes a whole difference, and that's what I help our professionals go through, help them rebound, redefine their income strategy, and they're back on their feet, smiling again and happy with their families. I always tell people that a layoff is an event and it can end your job, but it should not diminish your value.
Why do you think some immigrants struggle after losing a job?
I would say that immigrants struggle after losing a job because most of us were taught to just focus on our careers rather than build income streams. Um, and so it's almost as if they've arrived when they get that offer letter without the thought that in one meeting, that position can be taken away and then you're back to square one. But if you can monetize your skills, package it into something that is reliable, no matter how small, but it's residual and it's something that you can fall back on while carrying on with your career path, then it's never usually a tough hit when that layoff comes. So yes, immigrants struggle because we are not building income streams like we should with the skills that we have.
You've touched a little bit about building extra income streams, which you call the employedpreneur framework. How did you come up with this?
The employedpreneur framework is a framework that I developed when I realized how much value my professional expertise was worth outside of employment. And all of this started back in 2020 when I built my consulting business. In this business, I actually found that I could make more money offering my services, the same expertise that I use in employment, offer that in consulting to other clients and get paid. And that was a second stream of income for me. So we currently live in a world where employment is no longer a financial strategy. Our parents lived in a world where you were loyal to a company, and over the years your loyalty meant income security and financial security. But in the world that we live in today, that algorithm has changed. The world we live in today, we have AI, we have digital workforce transformations, we have restructurings going on in companies, and only people who are able to monetize their skills and expertise outside of employment can survive in terms of layoffs, because it is happening every single day in our world today. So I had to reposition myself, and also this leads me to my book. I published a book in 2018 titled Cash Your Passion: Practical Skills to Making Money from the Things That You Love Doing, because I believe that employment should not be the only source of income for anyone. Nobody ever got rich just being an employee. No, you have so many skills that God has put inside of you. You have a calling, you have a purpose, you have a passion. And even if you cannot find the skills and passion or purpose, there is something that you have spent 4 to 6 years, your profession. What else can you do with that outside of employment? And that's where the employedpreneur framework comes from. And today, I'm helping other professionals to build additional income on top of their corporate salary.
You've touched on Cash Your Passion, the book.
Yeah.
What do you hope that immigrants feel after reading it?
So, what I want immigrants to feel after reading the book is to know 2 things. Number 1, the fact that you are new in another country does not take away all the skills that you have built in your home country before coming here. The fact that you are here now, maybe you may be looking for a job, or maybe you're laid off, it doesn't take away your expertise or everything that you have built from your home country. These things can all be packaged and put together as a source of income for you. All you need to do is understand the frameworks, apply it, stay consistent, and be patient to see the results.
Excellent.
What's the biggest lie immigrants believe?
The biggest lie is that once you land here, everywhere's soft. It's not that soft. you just feel once you show. From the following week, you are sending dollars home. It's not like that. Oh boy.
In your opinion, what is the biggest lie immigrants believe?
So the biggest lie that immigrants believe today is that once you come into Canada, everything, like, it's a bed of roses. No, it's not. You gotta make your bed, and how you make your bed is how you lie on it. So when you come into Canada, even though Canada gives you a good platform, it opens the opportunities for you. Not every country has the sort of support that Canada gives to immigrants.
Has your definition of the Canadian dream changed?
I wouldn't say it has changed. No, it hasn't changed. It is still built on the foundation of hard work and results. As long as you keep working hard, you will eventually get the results that you deserve.
Has your Canadian dream changed?
Well, my Canadian dream is still my Canadian dream, and we're still on that path, we're still on that journey. It has really been a journey, considering the layoffs that my husband has had over the years. Having 3 layoffs in 4 years, that is no joke. And the one that really was profound, it was profound not because it affected us so much, but the fact that even though we had just had a baby, he went on 3 weeks of paternity leave, unpaid paternity leave, and on the day he resumed from that paternity leave, that was the day he was laid off. That was really shocking to me because I thought, in a way, there could be some empathy based on the fact that a new baby comes with so many financial obligations, diapers, formula, so many things that comes to play when you get a new baby. But the fact that he was laid off, even with that was very brutal, very, very brutal. But then I've come to understand that layoffs are not just emotional stuff; they are business decisions. They happen because of systems and structures, and sometimes the company is also trying to survive. And the good thing is that before that layoff happened, we had already built financial resilience and built something else outside of employment that was able to help us to cushion whatever damages that could have happened. It could have been disastrous, but it wasn't. And God has been faithful because in that period, there were clients who were literally just, okay, call, I want to pay now. Like, I want to join your program. I want to do this. And this was after just giving birth. I hadn't done much marketing, but clients just were coming up to pay. And that's why you cannot do your immigration journey without God backing you up. But always remember that faith without works is dead. So you've got to play your own part. You got to make sure that you go out there and do the work that you need to do. And God will back you up.
If you could speak to every immigrant arriving in Canada today, what would you tell them?
I would tell immigrants coming into Canada to build their career, but also build their dreams. They have to build something that belongs to them, something that no employer can take away from you, something that is your own and you can grow in and enjoy the benefits of it. Don't just come with luggage. Come with your luggage as well as your dreams and build them here.
What is one piece of advice you'd give an immigrant coming into Canada today?
One piece of advice that I will give everyone who is moving to a new country, even if not Canada, make sure you don't just go with your baggage. Don't just go with your luggage and your dreams. Make sure that you go with an extra source of income, a skill, a passion, something that your hands can do, something that your mind can conceive, something that you can use to add value to other people to make money, because money gravitates towards value. As long as you can create value for people through your handwork or through your knowledge, you will make money, whether you're employed or not. And that for me is the Canadian dream, because there are some places you go to and still apply these things and still have a roadblock. But for countries like Canada, you put in the work, you see the results.
If our story resonated with you, here is one way you can help someone else. We've turned the lessons we learned the hard way into a simple layoff survival kit. For less than the cost of lunch, buy it for yourself. Better yet, gift it to someone who's quietly carried the weight of a layoff.
Hey, this is Canada. Maple syrup in my cabin, say, hey, kick your ass on hockey season, hey.